Yo, what's going on, everybody? Gray here, and today I'm excited to be bringing you our first update to the free-to-play and new player account guide in Marvel Future Fight. In today's video, I'm going to be going over all of the updates to that guide and some additional tips to help with new accounts in this game. Keep in mind, guys, this is a companion piece to that original guide series, which will be linked in the description below. So if you're a brand new player, you're gonna want to make sure you watch that main guide, as well as the bulk of the new player information will be in those guides, and this is just an update. Also, keep in mind we're going to be jumping around through various topics here, so don't forget to use the chapters to move around, and also don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Let's go ahead and get into this thing, guys. All right, first thing I want to reiterate, this is a companion piece, so make sure you check out that main guide. If you're new to the game, you can start here, and we can go through all this. I'm going to touch on some of the main parts of it, but yeah, you're going to want all those details that are in that full 3-part guide to get your account started. So, the first thing I want to touch on here with this guide video are the two different types of accounts that I sort of think are viable for free-to-play new players in this game. And the first one of those is the strategy that I generally recommend in these guide videos, and that is to use systems that are given to you by the game to get discounts and early uniforms and tier 3s to move through the game very, very quickly and progress fast at the beginning, so you can snowball your account, start getting resources coming in early, building the characters you need, start farming extra crystals and stuff like that in timeline battle. So that's the strategy I typically recommend, and the one I'll be talking about in this video, and the one that my main series is based on. The other strategy you can employ is just looking at the absolute best uniforms in the game, taking your time and slowly building those characters up manually without the guided quests and uniform discounts that the game provides, to have simply the best characters in the game. And that is a viable option and something you can do. However, that's not the guide I put together and not the guide I recommend using. So I just wanted to make sure people were aware of that before they jump into this thing. All right, guys. Next thing we're going to talk about is the main bulk of this guide, which is going to be our main slide, and we'll jump over to that. And we are going to talk about a lot of different details here. We are going to be talking about our first 15 characters, an update on those, the guided quests, an update on that, and then I've got some extra details here for you guys for various stages of account building, and it's actually turns into sort of like a frequently asked questions that I got about the original guide. So let me move my beautiful dome piece here, and let's talk about the first 15 characters here. I went back and forth on this so many times. I broke this down, I tore it apart, I put it back together, trying to figure out what the best options were here. And as far as that strategy of building cheap and fast goes, trying to be efficient, fast, and cheap, I gotta say, I don't think there are hardly any changes to the first 15 characters that I recommend you get in this guide. Believe that or not. I couldn't believe it, but here it is. I'll break it down for you as fast as I can. Thor, I still think, is very important, though he is falling off in some ways. For an early game character on a brand new account, he's still very, very valuable. He's like a jack of all trades, master of none, and he's also one of the best farmers, if not the best farmer in the game for free-to-play players. And that fact just makes him still something that I think is worth investing in, especially early on in the game. Iron Man, you're giving him free at tier 3, back to basics uniform. Self-explanatory, don't need to argue for that one. Free character. And then there's Loki, and we're going to take a minute to talk about Loki here. A lot of people don't like the Loki pick. Shoot, I don't even like the Loki pick. But here's what it comes down to. You're given Loki at tier 3 for free on day 4. It's hard to overstate how impactful having that tier 4 character is, tier 3 character is that early in the game. That is why I still, to this day, recommend that most people, free-to-play, very, very important, free-to-play players, should consider picking up Loki's uniform from the guided quest, like I explained in the guide video. I mapped this out, and I looked at the difference if you don't take him, and it's pretty staggering how far back it's going to put you in progress as far as World Boss Legend clears, dispatch, things like that, because you will be stuck manually building that tier 3 for whatever uniform you purchase. And that's what I really want to drive home. That's the big difference here. think about how long it's going to take you, if you've played the game before maybe, to make that first tier 3 character without it being given to you for free. And that's how far back you're setting yourself without taking Loki's uniform and utilizing him. In fact, it's almost worse than that, because you can never make that up. You can never make up that time loss. You will always be behind that character. You can't get an extra character later because you passed on this one. So I think that's super crucial. I try my best to make that clear to everybody why I still, to this day, recommend people take Loki. I will comment that he is, I think, currently still, as bizarre as it is, the highest scoring alien villain we have in the game. Now we're gonna talk about someone here in a little bit that may change that, but things are still up in the air there as of the recording this video, so we'll have to see how things land. But yeah, for now, I still, like it or not, recommend you take Mr. Loki for a brand new free-to-play account, just because of the propulsion at the beginning of the game. Moving on, free character here, easy peasy. And then we get to the other thing we got to talk about here, which is Hulk. Now, Hulk is another character. He's been like a shoe-in for a long time. He's been meta for combat, villain, ABX, ABL, and he's also one of those characters you have a guided quest for, so you can get the 50% discount regardless of the time of year, which is super duper valuable. However, we had a character land literally like 8 hours ago, something like that, 10 hours ago, who may replace Hulk's days, especially from like a free-to-play perspective, right? So I'll talk about that some more when we talk about that character, but just know as a brand new player, you may end up skipping Hulk's uniform. I don't think there's a better guided quest to take, but we may end up passing on Hulk's Titan uniform if Ares is better or good enough that the scores are comparable, because as we'll talk about when we get a little further, the coverage from Ares is insane. So that's the other major detail that I needed to point out. Hulk's uniform may be out depending on Ares' performance. You would still take Hulk for the guided quest though, I suppose, because the guided quest, there's no other character that's going to give you access to a uniform that matters. That's just really important. So I would probably just do Hulk in that place anyways, just to have the character leveled up to tier 2, excuse me, through the guided quest. All right, moving on. Shuri's the same, still love it. Shuri's an amazing support. Her uniform is amazing. I still recommend you go that route. Spider-Man, I think, is a good choice here over the other two currently, just because I wouldn't really recommend for a free-to-play or brand new player to spend crystals on Captain America's zombie uniform currently. And I think Spider-Man has a movie slated for like this coming summer, so he's likely to get a uniform. So building him to tier 3 for that second tier 3 guided quest isn't a bad idea, in my opinion. I'm not sure if you want to pick up Black Widow. It's the same story. You can decide whichever route you want to go. I still recommend the native tier 1 guided quests. You just get major value out of using these characters as fillers for your first 5 World Boss Legend teams. The fact still remains that you don't have to do Star-Lord's gears, which gets you an extra discount and helps you build those first 5 World Boss Legend teams. But also keep in mind that those gears aren't built, so he technically won't count towards the, like, I forget what it is, the daily bonuses that refresh. They get an improvement once you get 15 tier 3 or transcendent potential characters, and Star-Lord doesn't count to that, so you just have to get one more to activate that bonus. But it is a good way to get to those 5 World Boss Legend clears to be getting the tier 4 mats very, very quickly. And cheap, which is really important. Baku is still an amazing choice, I think, for a 6-star Mega Rank Up ticket and a Mega Tier 2 ticket. He's just an incredible support, and he's given to you for free, and he does not require a uniform, guys, which is what is so amazing, in my opinion, about M'Baku. Is his support value is on par with some of the uniform supports without having to spend the crystals. Very good. Moving on, these 3 right here, first uniform purchase, they're all good. At this point, I think I would recommend Storm and Venom over Gwen. It's hard to say. Here's the story. Storm lost a little bit of coverage, I believe, but is still amazing, and for free-to-plays is likely going to be your best character in Alliance Battle Infinite. So she's still covering a lot of territory. Keep in mind, there are some more Alliance Battle changes planned in the future on December 2nd. But that should be the removal of some Days of Infinite and some additional Alliance battle requirements for ABL and ABX on those days that are replaced. So we don't know what that's going to look like yet. But anyhow, Storm is still an absolute monster of a character. She's so good. She does so much damage. Absolute great choice. Venom gained a bunch of value with the Alliance battle changes. And now Venom has some extra days in Alliance battle, as well as being an incredibly strong damage dealer for World Boss Legend. So at this point, Venom's just a stronger recommendation, and you're safe picking him up, even maybe with that first purchase. But keep in mind, actually, after this slide, I could have mentioned this earlier, I'm going to go over some stipulations for Black Friday as well. So if you're starting your account during Black Friday, some things are going to look a little different, and we'll talk about that after this slide. All right, guys, moving on. Let's talk about Gwenpool. This is another weird one, a place where I went back and forth over and over again with this guide. I had her completely removed at one point because in Alliance battle, I think all of her days she can be outscored. I may be wrong. There may be 1 or 2 days where she still can score the best score in the right hands, but she used to cover all these days and she was the meta for several of those days. Now I don't think she's meta for any of those days, but the thing is, Gwenpool covers an absurd amount of Alliance battle days in the new setup. I should have looked at the exact number, but it is a large number of days. All the speed villain, speed female, all those days she can cover them. The only ones she can't get into are the alien days. So at this point, for a new player, especially a free-to-play, I still say Gwenny P is amazing and absolutely worth picking up early on an account to cover a massive number of Alliance battle days. All right, guys, so that's going to be the first 15. Essentially, not much has changed. The Hulk, we're just watching out. The Titan Hulk uniform may have lost enough value and been replaced, so we may be moving on to Ares instead. And besides that, the Loki choice is still up to you, but I think I've explained that pretty well and why I recommend that you take it. And then, yeah, the value just shifted around on these 3 manual build uniforms. So there you go. Moving on, we're talking about the guided quest. There's only been 1 change here, plus the Hulk change. So the Hulk thing doesn't change much, except that we won't be really buying this uniform anymore if Ares is better. So just keep that in mind. The other thing to note here is in the previous version of the guided quest recommendations, I had Groot and Ghost Rider as like, oh, you could take one of these to maybe plan for future seasonals. This was before the Savage Avengers Ghost Rider uniform. You should 100% take Ghost Rider in this spot. So first tier 2 guided quest should be right here. Second, third, first tier 3 guided quest, 4th, 5th, 6th, second tier 3 guided quest. That's how these are laid out here. And there you go, just to make it nice and easy for which guided quest you should be picking. Next, we're going to talk about some of the additional suggestions here with this update for the guide. And one of the things I wanted to make sure to talk about are characters that are really, really good without uniform investments. Characters like M'Baku, who's in that first 15. And so I'll just go through these characters here. Keep in mind, there are quite a few of these, not a ton, but more than I have listed here. This is just a selection of them that do various things, which I'll explain right now. Valeria Richards, we have a Blast female, I think it's even Hero Day. I could be wrong, it's Blast female day for Alliance battle now. Valeria Richards for free-to-plays can cover the day with no uniform. So just something to keep in mind if you got a brand new account, you should have access to Valeria Richards. Starting that multiverse saga as soon as possible. She can't go to tier 4, but she can go to Transcendent Potential, and you could probably get enough score with her even at, you can start using her at tier 2. Shoot, you can start using her in Alliance battle at 6-star, level 60. But anyways, just a good shout out to her for being useful with no crystal investment. Next, Athena. And I have a whole thing to say about this new epic quest, so we'll talk about these 2 characters together. In my humble opinion, for a new free-to-play account, and we're probably talking, 60 days into your account or something like that. It's hard to say. The Epic Quest priority, you want to get at least 1 of the X-Men missions unlocked. So that would be either doing the X-Force or X-Men Epic Quest to unlock the daily missions for feathers and MCON crystals. You want to get 1 or both of those done first. They're more important. You may even want to do the Doctor Strange quest to get Doctor Strange leveled up and unlocked. ahead of time so you can get the Zombie Strange uniform, which is still pretty dang good, by the way. It's not on here, but it is in the other guide, and I will verify that it is still good. But at some point early on in your account, I do recommend that you do the new epic quest, the Immortals of Olympus. Hercules, though he's bad, on a brand new account, will have some use for you. You'll be able to use him in PvP with Iframe Ignore. He's going to get trounced, but you'll be able to use him to start building up your teams in Alliance Conquest, Team Battle Arena. But he's not really what you're after. He's just kind of a nice bonus from doing the quest. Athena is really who you're going to be after in here. You have to progress a ways through the epic quest to unlock her, and I definitely think it's worth it to do that at some point. She's a very good support, Athena, right here. She's got really good support abilities, all basics and damage to villains, and it's on her 4-star passive, y'all. You don't even have to farm shifter bios to get her to tier 2. You can get the value from her support just by leveling up her to 4 stars. You don't have to level her to 6 stars. Anyways, she's very good. And if I need to make a video here soon with some demonstrations on some like wonky tips for the game. Shifter bio forced closing would be one of those things. You can ask about it on Discord if you want a bunch of details for it, or maybe find a video or a guide online. But to get these bios, you run a mission that you have like 3 entries in a day. And there's like a chance, I believe it's like a 33% chance for a dimension shifter to show up and help you complete the stage. And if they do, you'll get a biometric for that character. That's how you farm biometrics for Athena. If that character doesn't show up to give you the biometric, you can force close the app, restart it, and then it won't count as using your energy or one of the entries for that mission. So you can consistently farm 3, 6 bios, whatever it is for the character a day. It's like that for Colossus, Phylavel, Athena, so on, so on. But Athena is very good and requires no uniform. Aphrodite, Venus, another character that is not particularly good. Her support abilities aren't great, but she doesn't need a uniform. She's brand new to the game, and all free-to-plays have really early access to her, and she's going to do damage because she's a brand new character. So she's probably one worth getting on your account. These are good examples of watching out for brand new characters to the game that are strong just because they're new and they don't need uniforms. Icon is a legend. Icon's great. She's an example of a character who's actually free to play friendly, has some pretty serious PvP abilities. She's not going to beat Null. She's not going to be Sentry. She's not going to beat any PvP metas. However, she is a great character for early accounts, for getting into things like Team Battle Arena and Alliance Conquest. Highly recommend building her at some point on your account. And then Nick Fury is another great example of a character that needs no uniform to bring tons of value to your account. He's a little harder to find. You're going to have to unlock him through Dimension missions or through the initial premium character that you're given when you start your account. But he gives you a ton of support value and the leadership without even having a uniform. So just wanted to make sure to give you guys some examples of some characters to hunt for after your first 15 or during that, not building them to tier 3. That will give your account a big boost without spending any crystals. Very important. Moving on to the next row here, we've got extra bangers, and these ones are important too. This whole like block here is about all the people that ask me, well, I did my first 15, now what do I do? So this is a list of some extra uniforms that are very, very good right now as of the making of this video in the game, and I highly recommend you pick these up, especially a couple of them, to help round out your roster once you've got your 5 World Boss Legendaries, right? And a lot of this is going to be based around Alliance Battle. So first, we've got the Savage Avengers uniform for Ghost Rider. Some people would argue that this belongs in the potential first purchase uniforms over here with Storm, Venom, and Gwenpool. It's very, very good. It is slow. It's an incredible uniform, though. Very good in PvP, very good in PvE. An absolute banger, and I absolutely recommend every free-to-play account pick this up at some point, whether it's very, very early or after your first 15. You should absolutely be picking up the Savage Avengers uniform for Ghost Rider and building him up. He's fantastic. He's also a really good option for a free-to-play tier 4 striker that does a lot of damage. Gamora, Gam, is absolutely amazing. She gained a ton of value with the Alliance battle changes. She's got 3 days locked in. And yeah, does really, really well. Another native tier 1, cheap to build, transcended potential character. You can grab her out of transcended potential selectors. Very nice choice. You should be doing that at some point. We get a lot of those. So yeah, Gamora, another great choice for a character to build. Bucky, with the current AB meta, with the Thunderbolts uniform, covers the Speed Hero Day really, really well, and then can also cover the ABX Day for like speed. Excuse me for not knowing these all off the top of my head just yet, but it's like Speed Hero something or whatever for I don't think it's Hero, but anyways, for ABX, and he can cover that as well. So he can cover 2 days for you and cover that Speed Hero Day, which is kind of tough. Not tough for free to plays, but we don't have a character out of these that covers Speed Hero in their kit. So Bucky's a good option for that. All right, guys, we're going to talk about Ares really quick. Ares came out 10 hours ago or something like that, right? I am putting him here because of what he could be and the fact that he doesn't look like a total turd right out the gate, right? He looks like he can do some damage. I don't think he's going to be doing god tier damage, and he shouldn't be. He's a semi-premium character. He's not native tier 2. He's not native tier 3. But what he does do is cover a lot of Alliance battle days. The most important time for this character and the best place for him to shine is on a newer free-to-play account. If you don't consider Mephisto, who is very expensive, native tier 3 build, who is amazing for Alliance battle, but if you don't have him, you don't have Gladiator, you don't have these expensive builds, you're free to play, brand new, Ares can cover 4 Alliance Battle Legend days and 1 Alliance Battle Extreme Day, Hulk's Day, and that is incredible. So depending on his scores, if he's actually scoring well on all those days, he's going to be an amazing character and a recommendation in probably most guides. But from a free-to-play perspective, he could be one of the best. So keep your eyes peeled if you're on a brand new account. This isn't something for day one on a brand new account, so I'm not worried about mentioning this here. By the time you get to where you would be picking up this character, who, by the way, is another dimension shifter character, so you gotta like farm him out if you want to do it the free-to-play way. You gotta farm those bios every day, get his gears ranked up, and then use a regular tier 2 advancement ticket to get him to tier 2. Ares is looking like an amazing option for free-to-play accounts. However, if the future is not kind to that prediction or opinion, we're going to default back to Hulk covering those days, and it'll be Mephisto and the others covering the Alliance Battle Legend days. All right, guys. One more uniform to talk about here. Scarlet Witch, just another recommendation based on the current Alliance Battle meta and just my experience. Scarlet Witch in her zombie uniform covers a bunch of days. Very strong, great character. However, put her on the end kind of because she's harder to build. You have to unlock her first through World Boss Ultimate, which can take time. She's like the last boss in a chain of unlock requirements. Last character, excuse me. But she's very, very good, and people should look at building her, have a plan to get her built up. But again, this is after your first 15, a little further down the road when people were asking me, hey, what do I do now? All right, and then the last thing I gotta put here is just the list of supports. If you're looking for things to build after your first 15, you've got your DPS sort of getting locked in, you've got your Ghost Rider, got your Gam, got your Ares, got your Gwenpool, got your Storm. Start looking at some of these supports. This is not all of the good supports in the game, but some of the best supports in the game. Taskmaster's female uniform for free-to-plays in particular is another very clutch piece to pick up. You get Taskmaster at 6 stars for free. Very easy to build up. The female uniform covers a bunch of Alliance battle days and can be used for combat female ABX. So very, very good uniform. I'll actually be picking this one up myself here in the next couple days. Valkyrie, legendary, semi-premium character, comes from Dimension missions, from the premium bios that you have a chance to get and you can reroll daily. She doesn't need a uniform to have support value, but she gains a bunch of ignore dodge and it increases her support. It's a very good uniform, but honestly could be in the no uni, no problem list because she does provide her support value without the uni. Same with Shuri, but they're just both very good uniforms. Cyclops is amazing. Looking to get this uniform myself. Again, another one I'm looking to pick up. a ton of coverage in Alliance Battle, can do damage on his own. Honestly, a free-to-play masterpiece. This guy is going to be really good for Alliance Battle for a lot of players early on. He's going to cover a lot of really difficult days for free-to-play, possibly even as a damage dealer. So keep in mind, this Cyclops uniform is something you should keep your eyes on. There are mutant days that are going to be difficult to cover potentially. Blast ones in particular that Cyclops can really come to bat for you for, as well as a blast hero day. People are using Doctor Strange in the spacesuit, I believe, for that day. Not a really free-to-play friendly option. So, I mean, you can get the uniform, but it requires a good understanding. Dr. Voodoo, very good. Has several days in Alliance Battle now. Good in Dispatch. Works in PvP for a support for Team Battle Arena. Just one of those jack of all trades, master of none. Very good support. Definitely worth thinking about picking up. And then, of course, Ronana here on the end. With his artifact, he's an incredible support. Without his artifact, he's a very good support. So, just another great option. So this is sort of an expansion on the original guide, gives you a lot more options, tune you in on some more good uniforms, good characters to pick up in the future as you're moving forward from your first 15 in your guided quests. Bam, guys. All right, we're going to move back over to the game. We're going to talk about a couple more things here, and then we'll move towards wrapping this thing up. So let's jump back over to BlueStacks here. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about, a few quick tips for you guys. The premium selector that you get at the beginning of the game, just go with Enchantress. The original guide said, you know, you could take Arrow if you want to get a character you don't have access to. Things changed. We have access to all those characters from Dimension missions now. They're all part of this system where you can change your character, the like premium bios for that day. And as you can see, they updated this. It's been talked about quite a bit because it was a great change. You can get all those characters for free now. So just take Enchantress. She's a good support. You need her uniform, but she gives you her value at 4 stars from her 4-star passive. So you do not need to use a Mega Tier 2 ticket to get the value out of her. That's why I think she's a great choice. So lock that in. There's also the Tier 2 selector you get at the beginning of the game. I recommend Man-Thing. I still do. You could take a Venus. You could take Icon. I like Man-Thing because I like Man-Thing. So that's up to you. Just make sure you take someone strong who can clear fast and give you a lot of value really early in the game for that one. Other thing I want to look at here really quick for brand new players is the last reason I think this is important. And while we're here, I'll reiterate, you need to do one of these or both of these first. Progress them to where you have access to these missions. I believe it's, yeah, like Veiled Secret and stuff, because these give you mutant materials which you can use to craft mythic comic cards. It's a very important system, something you're going to want to do early for sure. But after you get through one or both of those, you can get Doctor Strange pretty quick and easy. So you could consider getting Doctor Strange built up. I think this is really important to get into. Athena being one of the main reasons. Like I said, you have to get a ways into the quest to unlock her, but Athena is very, very good. And I think it's worth unlocking Heaven and Hell for 2 reasons. One, to get the Athena bios. You can farm 6 bios every day by force closing the app if the shifter bio doesn't show up, like I said. And the other thing that I really want to point out, and this might take you some time, this right here. There is a premium comic card in this chest, and you should start chopping at this, working at it as soon as possible. Well, all 3 of these items, for this premium card, drop in those missions where you farm, where you farm Athena bios. So that's going to be the Heaven and Hell missions. In King of Hell, in Skyfather, these 3 items drop. They're a random chance and they're quite rare, especially for the P card, I think. This one in particular seems rare. But once you get these items farmed up, you get a free premium comic card chest. Absolutely spectacular. Spectacular value. There is no Marvel Zombies in here, which is a bummer, but hey, that's all right. You got Ghost Rider here, you got Luna Snow, you got a lot of the really good comic cards. Make sure you get in there and get that as a brand new player. An amazing, amazing reward for new players. And that is why I think there's actually value in this epic quest. Like I said, Hercules sucks, so Once you're as far as you need to be to unlock all this, you might as well get him to tier 3. But this is sort of a great project for right after that first 15. Once you've got those first 15 characters, you're probably about where you'll look at maybe getting into this. I just don't want people to rush into this, but I think it's worth saying that there's value here, especially with that P card. So keep that in mind, guys. I just wanted to stress that in this update for the new player guide. The other thing, and this is a huge one that I want to talk about with you guys, is Shadowlands. This is something I kind of forgot to mention in my new player guide. The day 1 through 7, we're trying to like rocket through the guided quests really, really fast, right? And one of those requirements is to clear Shadowlands once. You just have to do one stage, right, of Shadowlands. Well, in order to do Shadowlands on a brand new account, you need to run a stage 7 dimension mission, right? You're able to do 6, I believe, right out the gate. You need to be able to get up to stage 7. And to get to stage 7, follow me here, you just need to increase your agent badge, right? It has a requirement. I wish I could remember exactly what it is. I can't off the top of my head. There's a requirement for your agent level. To increase your agent level, this is what gets people. To get into Shadowlands, you simply need to unlock / build characters. The way to do this on a brand new account, make sure you come into the legendary battles, rip through all of these, and unlock the 6-star characters that you're given for free. You're given like 5 to 6 free 6-star characters out of here, which will give you a bunch of progress on your agent badge, which will get you closer to Shadowlands. I'm talking about people who are like, wait, how the heck would I do this day 1 or 2? You can do this day 1. You need to collect all those characters. You need to go into the epic quests. You need to start all of these epic quests. Starting them will give you a bunch of native tier 2 and native tier 3 characters. And even though they're at 1 star, level 1, it'll increase your agent badge a bunch for acquiring those characters. Also, just your selectors, the characters you get, bust through all of story mode regular so that you upgrade Tony, Natasha, and Steve, Captain America to tier 2. Get their uniforms through story mode. You get it for free. Excuse me. It'll help you increase that badge, and that'll get you into Shadowlands. And that's really all it takes. You just need to round up all of those characters. All the characters from the epic quests, all the characters from the legendary battles, and anything else you can get to increase that badge, and then that'll get you into Shadowlands. You just have to clear the first stage, and then that'll get your guided quests rolling at that point. I just know that one was a big point where a lot of people got stuck, so happy to clear that up for you guys. And that pretty much does it for the update, y'all. That's it. Much stays the same, a little bit changes. And yeah, I'll keep doing these as we move forward. We may get into a weird place here in the near future where the guided quests are getting really stale. And I will let you guys know if we get to a point where I think you're better off just skipping the guided quests or using them just for the characters. But for now, I still recommend using Loki to speed up your progress right out the gate, picking up a couple of those clutch uniforms. And yeah, just keep your eyes on Hulk and Ares. And that's it, guys. Woo, I hope you found this helpful. I drove myself crazy making it, ended up just making a lot of stuff and then burning it to the ground. So happy I finally got something done here for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Glad to see new players in the game. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the content, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, helps out a lot. Yeah, and I am Old and Gray. This is free to play, and I hope you all have a spectacular day. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.